Japan and the Philippines signed defense pact. China-backed hackers behind Australia cybersecurity online crimes. Iran expands ballistic missile facilities. Russian court orders arrest of Yulia Navalnaya. Dyson to cut nearly one-third of UK workforce. Chinese researchers test robot guide dogs.
Hello, I'm Wade Lee. Thank you for joining us on Funday News. It is Thursday, July 11th, and here are your top stories. Japan and the Philippines signed a key defense pact Monday, allowing the deployment of Japanese forces for joint drill in the Southeast Asian nation that came under brutal Japanese occupation in World War II, but is now building an alliance with Tokyo as both face an increasingly assertive China. The Reciprocal Access Agreement, which similarly allows Filipino forces to enter Japan for joint combat training, was signed by the Filipino Defense Secretary and the Japanese Foreign Minister in a Manila ceremony witnessed by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. It would take effect after ratifications by the country's legislators.
Kamikawa called the signing of the defense agreement a groundbreaking achievement that should further boost defense cooperation between the countries. The Japanese and Philippine officials expressed serious concern over the dangerous and escalatory actions by China in 2nd Thomas Shoal, the scene of a recent confrontation between Chinese and Philippine forces in the South China Sea. They underscored in a joint statement the need for the international community to speak out on the importance of maintaining and strengthening the free and open international order based on the rule of law in the disputed waters. The defense pact with the Philippines, which includes live fire drills, is the first to be forged by Japan in Asia. Japan signed similar accords with Australia in 2022 and Britain in 2023.
Australia's government's cybersecurity agency on Tuesday accused a China-backed hacker group of stealing passwords and usernames from two unnamed Australian networks in 2022, adding that the group remained a threat. A joint report led by the Australian Cybersecurity Centre said the hacker named APT-40 had conducted malicious cyber operations for China's Ministry of State Security, the main agency overseeing foreign intelligence. China's embassy in Australia did not immediately respond to a request for comment.
U.S. and British officials in March accused Beijing of a sweeping cyber espionage campaign that allegedly targeted millions of people, including lawmakers, academics, journalists, and companies, including defense contractors. They said China-backed APT-31 was responsible for the network intrusion. China at the time said the hacking allegations by the U.S. and Britain were political maneuvering. APTs are a general term for cyber actors or groups, often state-backed, that engage in malicious cyber activities. In March, New Zealand said APT-40 targeted its Parliamentary Services and Parliamentary Council Office in 2021 and gained access to important information. The report comes as both Australia and China are rebuilding ties after a period of strained relations.
Recent satellite imagery shows major expansion at two key Iranian ballistic missile facilities that two American researchers assessed are for boosting missile production, a conclusion confirmed by three senior Iranian officials. The enlargement of the site followed an October 2022 deal in which Iran agreed to provide missiles to Russia, which has been seeking them for its war against Ukraine. According to U.S. officials, Tehran also supplied missiles to Yemen's Houthi rebels and the Lebanese militia Hezbollah, both members of the Iran-backed Axis of Resistance against Israel.
Images taken by commercial satellite firm Planet Labs of the Madaras military base in March and the Kojir missile production complex in April reveal over 30 new buildings at these Tehran area sites. The images show many of these structures are surrounded by large dirt berms, typical for missile production facilities to contain explosions and prevent damage to nearby buildings. Iran already possesses the largest arsenal in the Middle East, with more than 3,000 missiles, including models capable of carrying conventional and nuclear warheads. Three Iranian officials, speaking on condition of anonymity due to lack of authorization, confirmed that Madaras and Kojir are expanding to increase production of conventional ballistic missiles.
Yulia Navalnaya's spokesperson said Tuesday that a court in Moscow has ordered her, the wife of the late Russian opposition politician Alexei Navalny, to be arrested in absentia. The spokesperson added that the Basmany District Court in Moscow accused her of participation in an extremist organization. According to the Russian state news agency RIA Novosti, she has also been added to an international wanted list. Additionally, the court granted a request by the investigative committee of the Russian Federation to detain her.
Alexei Navalny died on February 16 in a penal colony in Siberia where he was serving a 19-year sentence after being found guilty of creating an extremist community, financing extremist activists, and various other crimes in August. He was already serving sentences totaling 11.5 years in a maximum security facility on fraud and other charges that he had always denied and claimed were politically motivated. Navalny was Russia's highest-profile opposition leader and spent years criticizing Putin, who has been in power for nearly a quarter of a century, at great personal risk. His death occurred weeks before the country's presidential elections, scheduled to begin nationwide on March 15, which are widely seen by the international community as little more than a formality securing Putin a fifth term in power.
Consumer good giant Dyson plans to cut up to a third of its UK workforce as part of a global shakeup. The company, best known for inventing the bagless vacuum cleaner, said the proposal would ensue it is prepared for the future, amid what it calls increasingly fierce and competitive global markets. However, the move follows staunch, long-running criticism from its founder Sir James Dyson of UK economic policies, and the business relocated its headquarters to Singapore in 2019. Dyson currently has 3,500 people in the UK, with offices in Wiltshire, Bristol, and London.
Dyson moved its head office to Singapore in 2019 to be closer to its manufacturing sites and supply chains. Asian markets account for more than half of its sales, and Singapore also has a free trade agreement with the EU. The company also makes air purifiers and hairdryers, among other appliances, is still highly profitable. It increased its research and development spending by 40% last year. Dyson has stated the announcement is a business decision, not a political one, and a result of its global review. Sir James has been a vocal critic of the UK's economic policies. Last year, he said the UK had woeful policies, such as high corporation tax, and said he would invest more in modern, forward-looking economies elsewhere that encourage growth and innovation.
It's less furry than a traditional companion, but a six-legged Chinese robot guide dog could one day help vision-impaired people live more independently. The robot dog, currently undergoing field tests, is able to navigate its physical environment via cameras and sensors. Unlike traditional guide dogs, it can recognize traffic light signals. Roughly the size of an English bulldog but slightly wider, it can communicate by listening and speaking with visually impaired operators through AI technology integrated into its voice recognition, route planning capabilities, and traffic light recognition.
It also has 6 legs, which researchers say help it walk smoothly and with maximum stability. Robot guide dogs are under development in other countries, including Australia and Britain, but China faces a severe shortage of traditional guide dogs. With just over 400 guide dogs for nearly 20 million blind people, pet ownership and service animals are relatively new concepts in the country. Consequently, many workplaces, restaurants, and other public areas may not readily accommodate traditional helpers like Labradors. Unlike biological dogs, which are limited by breeding constraints and the rigorous training they require, the production of robot guide dogs could be scaled up, particularly in major manufacturing hubs like China.
The answer for yesterday was B, constraint. At last, we could relax and talk without constraint. Did you answer correctly? Now let's delve into the news of Chinese researchers test robot guide dogs. Number 1, impair, 损害,削弱. Even one drink can impair driving performance. Number 2, navigate, 导航. How do you navigate your way through a forest? Number 3, accommodate, 考虑到,顾及. Our proposal tries to accommodate the special needs of minority groups. Next, we have a multiple choice question for everyone to practice. Which answer would you choose? You can write your answer in the comment section. The correct answer will be announced tomorrow. And that's it for today's Funday News. Be sure to tune into Funday News from Monday to Friday and click the link below to join Funday for free. I'm Wei Li, your host. I'll see you next time.